For some reason, this makes me so angry. Why does it seem like no one understands me? Or no one sees me? Why am I worried about what other people think? It shouldn't matter, right? These are the kinds of questions that each and every one of us has faced at some points in our lives. And every human being in history, to some degree, has done the same. But it's a different question for each of us. And we may be even asking the question for a different reason. And to get through it, I mean, we have to do different things, overcome different obstacles in order to get through it. You can have the same question, but different answers. Heck, you could have different questions, but come to the same answer. Before I get into what the MBTI is, I just want to introduce my channel. Its focus is really going to be on helping us and helping everyone understand themselves better and better understand cognitive psychology. I want to keep it as practical as possible, but also really help people understand, like, there's an actual science. Yes, the science is evolving, but there's an actual, like, science and study being done on this stuff. So if you enjoy watching, consider sharing it. Let's all grow together. So what is the MBTI? The MBTI, it stands for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. It's basically a system of identification. So when you get your 4-letter acronym, which I assume is probably what brought most people here, they'll get INTJ, ESFJ, ISFP, and there's 16 of those types. What those letters actually represent is called a cognitive preference. So the first letter, it's either I or E, and it basically says, do you prefer introversion or extroversion? And then let's real quick just look at the last letter, which is a J or a P, which is judging and perceiving. It basically asks, do you prefer having the choice or making the choice? This is a very broad question for it. There's obviously a lot more to it, but that's essentially what it boils down to. Do you prefer having a choice or making the choice? Then the second letter, which is an N or an S, it answers, do you prefer being in the what is or what could be? Like, do you prefer to imagine all the big possibilities, or do you prefer to just be in the moment, do your thing, keep going? And that second letter for intuition or sensing, those are what are called perceiving functions. It's how we take in information and process it. But there will be more on that later. The third letter will be a T or an F for thinking or feeling. And again, preferences, they're not mutually exclusive. Do you prefer to make your decisions on, like, your morals and ethics, or your rationality and logic? And this letter here, thinking and feeling, are both what are called judgment functions, which is basically how we make decisions. Now, to be clear, all of us, we use all of these tools. We all use thinking and feeling, intuition and sensing in our lives. But we use them in different ways and prefer some over others. The different ways that we use thinking, feeling, intuition, sensing, the different ways we use that are called cognitive attitudes. So I find the best way to kind of talk about cognitive attitudes is to just use an example. So think of a parent and a child. The parent tries to be responsible about things. It's a lot of work. But you make sure the family's safe, the people you care about are safe. And you have a child, innocent but little naive, little bit of a pain in the ass. Well, we actually have a parent and a child function. Sometimes some other places they may be called something slightly different, but parent and child are pretty common. And so you can have someone who, when it comes to their thinking and their rationality, they're very responsible. They're very responsible about what they think. But when it comes to their emotions, they're a bit naive, prone to outburst, that sort of thing. And you can have the reverse, where someone's very responsible about their emotions and like is always like moral in their judgments. But when it comes to the world of ideas, they're much more playful. And you can see this happening in your life and the life of people around you if people frankly open their eyes and actually pay some attention to the people around them. You see people blowing up with emotional outbursts, or some people will just get like a bug up their butt and they gotta work on this thing that's just driving them nuts. Some people just want to hop on a motorcycle and just drive. And you also see the not so exciting parts. You see people hurting. You see people who are really depressed. You see someone just drudging through their day. And the better you understand yourself, the less effort you need to put in to just get through your days and make your decisions. And you can really focus that energy and really start to better be able to understand people and have better relationships and deeper connections. It's an incredible tool. If you're someone who wants to I want to find out why this person's so dumb. And I say that in kind of a mocking tone, but those are really tough questions. Better understanding this stuff has truly changed my life forever. And I think it can do that for a lot more people. So I'm going to try and share everything that I can. Now, like and subscribe.